Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today, as this is a Monday podcast episode, and we're going to discuss the significance of Pisces energy that started with the September 17th Pisces Lunar Eclipse at 26 degrees. And this energy is going to continue to carry over into 2025, specifically into early May. And that's not simply because we had an eclipse in Pisces. It's because that eclipse at 26 degrees is going to be activated by the transiting North Node, which moves into Pisces on January 12th and will also have a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces at 28 degrees in late February into March 2025. And on top of that, we will also see Venus move through Pisces because she's going to have a retrograde that also works with this Pisces lunar eclipse point. Plus, of course, we'll have the sun move across the Pisces lunar eclipse point. So all this to say that what started in mid-September 2024 was a very significant chapter that will continue into 2025. And I'm seeing this as essentially we're in a Pisces Masterclass. So in your natal chart, you would want to identify where you have late degrees of Pisces, specifically 25 to 29 degrees of Pisces, as this is where we are all individually and collectively moving through a significant phase of karmic clearing, release, endings, unravelings, and very deep heart consciousness openings. There is an energy now on the planet that is requiring us to open and expand our heart spaces and connect with deeper kindness, compassion, and acceptance. I'm seeing this energy as a very light pink, a very soft, loving pink, and it looks to be moving around the planet in order to fill in the open spaces that are experiencing the most transition. Now, as I say that, what comes to mind are the numerous water events, including flooding, hurricanes, and typhoons that all took place within the span of only a week or so after this Pisces lunar eclipse. We had numerous extreme weather events. Pisces rules weather. And if you'll recall, this eclipse was conjunct Neptune. So there was even greater significance here to the energy that was literally flooding the planet. Now, perhaps you've heard about some of these events in your area or in your country, but also to touch on other parts of the planet. There was Storm Boris that brought about catastrophic flooding in the Czech Republic, Poland, Slovakia, and parts of Germany. There were 2 typhoons in Asia, one in Taiwan and a super typhoon in Southeast Asia that made landfall in the Philippines. Hurricane John moved through Mexico. There were landslides and flooding in Nepal. And then also Hurricane Helene, which wreaked havoc through Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, a number of states. And all of these events permanently changed the landscape of these locations through water. Water being, of course, not only powerful, but what our planet is mostly covered in. And I feel that that's important to remember, the vulnerability we have to the oceans, the tides, the ebb and the flow, and the movement of water is going to continue to be a big theme on our planet. And I would say that's especially the case next September when we have our second Pisces lunar eclipse. That will be September 7th at 15 degrees of Pisces. Now, it would be easy to feel concerned or worried as I go into these topics or themes, but we're actually taking the energy higher. And this is meant to be an understanding of how we can use the power of these incoming Pisces influences to guide us forward as we understand that our planet our energies and our collective field is moving through a significant closing cycle. This cycle can't be stopped. It's much bigger than us, but it's part of a bigger story of what we're ready to move into. One of the biggest gifts of this particular Pisces Masterclass of energies is that not only does it open up our capacity to hold greater compassion for each other, but it reminds us of our similar humanity. It reminds us of how we are all the same at core levels of our being, that we are each souls connected to source energy here for a limited time to experience the full adventure of this particular planet. And we are here because our souls chose to be here. We wanted to show up and participate and contribute to these grand cycles ending and beginning. And we knew we would be able to make it through with a sense of purpose, empowerment, and also an increase in our light. So at a soul level, this is also a time for you to recognize what is fading out for you that could bring up a bunch of different emotions. On the one hand, you could recognize how far you've come, how much you have moved through and transformed. You're aware of all those dark nights of the soul. You're aware of all the work you've been doing to heal your inner child, to understand perhaps previous experiences of trauma or abuse. You're aware of everything you've had to handle on your own terms, in your own energy, to get to where you are today. The journey continues on, but there could be a deeper recognition of yourself and how much you have grown, evolved, and changed, and how much you have healed. So this can also be energy that supports your healing completions, realizing you've come so far and that now there are parts of your energy, parts of your life that are meant to fade away. You are meant to surrender to them and let them go because they no longer connect to what you want next or what might be beckoning you forward. These late degrees of Pisces bring us to a void. Not a void, one word, but two words. A void of energy, an opening of new space and potentials. It's the sense that a lot is dissolving and you feel it and you know it's happening, even if at times it can be confusing. The energy is fading out and you could even feel that in yourself, that part of your energy isn't there anymore, that you're almost lighter. And so where I'm going with this is that I feel these incoming Pisces influences are activating more of our light body, allowing us to levitate above where we've been before and move ourselves to the next level of our journey. And in order to get there, we have to be lighter. We have to be able to move ahead without traveling with density, heaviness, karma, anything that would literally weigh us down. And so when we move through this Pisces Masterclass, you are meant to trust the letting go. And that can be very difficult for the human mind, the human body, the human ego, because we're leaving behind parts of our lives that probably meant a lot, had a lot of value, even had a lot of love and understanding about who you were. You could feel that the only choice is to move forward and you don't know why yet. And I feel this is a big theme for many healers, light workers, starseeds, that you're moving into this new terrain of energy that hasn't fully arrived, but you're right there greeting it. You are the welcoming committee. You are the first ones on the tarmac. You are the ones who are holding space for where the energy on the planet is going, and it's required you to let go first. And this can feel like you're done with a certain job. You're done living in a certain place. You're complete with certain partnerships, friendships, people in your world. It could even feel like it wasn't your choice. And that is a Pisces theme. because the human parts of us feel that, well, if I'm in control, if I'm in my power, then I choose it. I choose what I step away from. I choose what's done. I choose it. But in Pisces, it's a much bigger level energy. So the choice is actually from your soul. The choice is from the universe and from your divine guidance team, actually moving you away from something that is no longer true for you for the long term. And so you could think, oh, sure, I'll do this job for 1 more year. That's what makes sense. I can plan on that. I can rely on that. And then the next week, you're fired. The job is removed. The department closes. It's taken away. And you're like, oh my goodness. It brings up logically fear and worry and stress. But this is where your guidance team came in, pulled you out of something, removed you from where your energy was no longer needed so that you could move forward and be ready and be prepared for this next chapter that is coming onto the planet. And we need that welcoming committee. We need people who are already there holding that energetic space as we move forward. And this is the next level. This is the next level of healers, the next level of light workers, the next level of those who are here to be of service to humanity with your unique gifts. And I feel that many people are receiving downloads around their spiritual gifts, and maybe it is blowing your mind and you're doubting it and you're wondering, is this for real? I never thought I would be able to do this. I never thought I would want to do this. All of that is normal thinking, of course, but this is where you are moving ahead and becoming a next level version of yourself. And I see this as receiving new light codes, new transmissions of energy, and they pulse and vibrate at a much higher frequency. I mean, this is really a frequency change, a very big frequency shift that is up leveling you, similar to moving from AM to FM to satellite transmissions. You're going up to the next level, but you can't take a lot with you. And that's why this Pisces Masterclass can feel like 90% of your life has to leave. And don't forget, we have Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is a gatekeeper. And Saturn says, that can't go. That's too heavy. You don't need that baggage. You don't need that where you're going next. I'm not going to allow it to travel forward with you. And so this Pisces energy is really strong. And as the North Node moves into Pisces in the middle of January, it's going to light us up and it starts to realign us with a new navigation system. And I'm seeing it literally as some kind of frequency linking system that is off planet. And it has such a lightness to it that you don't want to bring too much anyways. And so what's interesting is that as the North Node moves into Pisces, allows us to not only be lighter, but to feel at ease in our lightness, to levitate above the previous experiences of the world that we've known. We also are then wrestling with the Virgo parts of ourselves. And Virgo is the body and the mind. It's what keeps us grounded and in our routines. It connects us to what we do on a daily basis, our expectations of ourselves to be responsible, to be of service, to get things done, to take out the trash, to feed the cat. All of these daily routines that are still essential, but they're going to feel different because you're going to feel different. And now you might feel that you're definitely moving between timelines, but it's like this flying, floating movement between timelines that is very light and gentle, almost like maybe your toes hit the ground, but your energy is different. It requires more lightness, more ease, and more grace. But that can only happen when you allow yourself to step away from any areas of the Virgo energy that are too dense, that are stuck in martyrdom, or I'm not doing enough, or it's not good enough, that are stuck in any of the worry, guilt, or stress, because that reveals exactly where you're not trusting this process and trusting yourself as you rise up into a new experience of your life. And so these Virgo energies are going to have difficulty, especially at first, recalibrating and adjusting to this new experience of energies. And as I mentioned, the emphasis is on these Pisces energies. The North Node, Neptune, and then also Venus are all going to be in these late degrees of Pisces. And then Saturn enters into the conversation as well. And Saturn comes in to make a conjunction with the North Node. That happens mid-April 2025 and is always a checking in point, a reality point of how we're handling and mastering these Pisces energies. And so for all the ways the energetics can feel good and can feel like we're moving ahead and there are higher frequencies at play, there's also the reality check that this is hard. This is hard. The surrender is hard. The unknowns are hard. The uncertainty. This is a reminder that it's not easy being a spiritual human. It's not even easy being a human at times. And then we want to pull in and use our spiritual guidance and our soul's wisdom to help us traverse all of these bumpy parts. But there's also the reminder here to go easy on yourself, to not expect it to be perfect, to not expect it to always look a certain way because it never will, and to also know when to take a break. So that's my other main theme here that I want to share with you as we move into 2025. And again, the first 4 to 5 months of 2025, the energy is about doing less, to not think you have to make it happen, which could be very difficult as well when we have Mars retrograde in Cancer. The first number of months of 2025 is actually about doing less, reducing what's on your plate, allowing yourself to have more downtime and more rest, allowing yourself to take it easy and to check in on your health. Your mental health is really important when I look at the energy here as we move into 2025, because if you don't have something that lifts you up and gives you a purpose, gives you an understanding of what you can create, what you're good at, what you love, what you enjoy, a lot of this Pisces energy can feel like you're sinking, can feel like you're lost, and it can feel quite discouraging and depressing at times. And I feel like we're moving through so much energy, and maybe you've been holding so much, like you've been at capacity, but you've been holding on almost to brace yourself for any life changes. Or if you're feeling lost and you don't know what is coming, that is going to be pretty typical. This energy in the collective is going to be about the big unknowns. And that's why those on the front lines, those who are the healers and the wisdom keepers, those of you who have an understanding that we're on the precipice of a significant changeover of energy, we have to hold a frequency. We have to continue to hold a frequency that is loving and kind, that's supportive, that allows people to even feel everything they're feeling, but come back to the power of their choices and to remind them that they are a wildly creative being who is moving through a difficult cycle of change, but that there are promises of new beginnings and new blessings on the other side. And that's what we're getting closer to. That's what we're moving towards, but it's not here yet. So we're in a Pisces Masterclass. And everyone handles that differently, of course, but this is understanding that at a cosmic level, it's right on time. And we're meant to understand that what is leaving and phasing out is right on time. So the best thing you can do is take care of your heart, take care of your emotions, take care of your body, take care of your health, and to focus in on simple grounding exercises that continue to lift your spirits, where it is the daily things that count. And it's understanding what would be good for me right now. What would make me happy? What would be supportive? Where can I go to move my energy, especially in a creative way? I hope that part of this Pisces Masterclass is that more people return to the arts, to their imagination, to what they want to express and share and move through that is just good for them at a soul level. No expectations, no need for approval or validation. It's just something you do for yourself. And so that can be quite private. and internal. Those are other key Pisces words. You want to be left alone. You want to be able to do your own thing and float around and levitate and meditate without interruption. And of course, that can help you reset and restore yourself as well. So for each of us, our assignment is to understand how we work with Pisces energy in a healthy, satisfying way, how to ensure we're being responsible with it, we're honoring what we're feeling and sensing, we're allowing this to expand our intuition and our psychic abilities, we're allowing this to open up our clairs even more, to become more intuitive humans and more cosmic beings. And we're also aware of our humanness, that sometimes this stuff is really hard. It's difficult. It brings up a lot. And so processing grief is normal. Feeling lost in the surrender is normal. Practicing Ho'oponopono can be satisfying. Allowing our bodies to move so that we're not holding on to stagnant emotions physically. We're allowing energy to flow through us as we exercise and breathe and stretch and move, because that's what our bodies are meant to do. Our bodies are meant to be in motion. We're not meant to be sitting at a desk or in a chair or in a car for excessive amounts of time. We're meant to be in motion. So this could be an invitation back into those natural flows of your physical self. It's also a great way to remain receptive and trusting that the universe is supporting you, the universe is moving through you, and that when you feel exhausted, worn out, overwhelmed, tired, that could also be validation that more of your energy is coming online in these higher frequencies, and that's why you need to rest, because of that recalibration and the time it takes to start moving and living in the higher frequencies. So the Pisces energy will be strong. And as I mentioned, that Pisces lunar eclipse really brought things in powerfully, really shifted and evolved us, and was also meant to open us up, because you are lighter now. You are lighter. And I know that is something that only you can feel, but you sense it, right? You sense it when it's real. You trust it in yourself and in your body. And it's also a validation of how far you've come on your spiritual path. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, I just got a message to share with you before I sign off here. Back in 2007, I received a gift from one of my mentors of a channeled being named Oren. Oren was channeled through the human known as Sanaya Roman. She passed away a few years ago, but she channeled very deep, beautiful wisdom in books, in meditations, and in courses. And I remember first listening to her meditations back in 2007, 2008, 2009, and just feeling parts of my cells open up and receive more energy and more wisdom. And I feel that as we move into more of these Pisces energies, we are going to feel so supported in ways we've never felt before, because the energy is alive and we are receiving it. The meditations and information that I'm referencing here is still available on a website called Oren Deben. I will put a link below the podcast. These are free downloads. They have many free resources on their website, but if you feel called, please contribute or please consider purchasing something to support their work and their effort. Again, this has been going on for decades, because I know when I found them, they had already been around for a while. And I'm sure many of you are already aware of this work that has been channeled for a number of years. These are exactly the types of messages, downloads, and meditations that can help you open up to more of your own soul's wisdom, more of your own light body, and support you in moving through this very big Pisces chapter that we're in. So again, the name of the website is called ORINDABEN.com, and they have a column on the left-hand side there that says free on our website. And that's where you will find channeled messages, free meditations, book excerpts, and a number of other resources. So please check them out. And again, if you can, please consider contributing to their work. I hope this information has supported you in understanding a bigger picture of what we're moving through, that there is a lot at play here that can be both confusing and uplifting, that can be emotional, overwhelming, and invigorating and exciting. So we're definitely in it. We're definitely in all these variations of the energies, but also know that we're right on time. We're equipped for this. We are ready. We are evolving humans as we speak. And every phase, every step of the way is worth it. As always, thank you so much for joining me for today's podcast. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for a new episode. And it is the Wednesday episodes where I discuss what's going on over the week ahead. You can find more of my astrology courses at mollymccord.online, and be sure to check out my new program called Your Cosmic Codes, which is where you look at the 12 universal spiritual laws and then apply them to your natal astrology chart. It's a very cool way to sync up the energy, to see what you came in with in this lifetime that you are able to practice, that you're ready to own and work with, as well as how to develop a deeper connection to other universal spiritual laws that perhaps you haven't focused on as much. Of course, all of us are connected to all of the universal spiritual laws, but this is a cool way to look at your astrology chart through a new lens. So again, that is called Your Cosmic Codes, and I hope you enjoy it and what it brings into your consciousness. As always, have a beautiful week ahead. Thank you for making time in your busy life to connect with this information, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.